सुप्तेषु जाग्रति य एष सुप्तेषु जाग्रति कामं 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 कामपुरुषो पुरुषो निर्विमाणः निर्विमाणः तदेव शुक्रं तद्ब्रह्मा तद्ब्रह्मा तदेवामृतमुच्यते तस्मिन् लोकः शतः सर्वे तदूनात्यपि कश्चन एतद्वैता 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 एतद्वैता.
Good evening, everyone. I am Mahi Gogri, a volunteer at Vikasa WIRC, and I welcome you all to SAMVAAD Gurukulam, a space created for open conversation, shared learning, and guidance that truly matters. This career shaping session is brought to you by Vikasa WIRC of ICAI. Audit isn't just a subject, it's how a chartered accountant sees the world. It's about understanding systems, asking the right questions, and building trust where it matters the most. And this perspective begins with articleship. To give us real and relatable insights into the articleship journey, we'll be interacting with three CA finalists, starting with Vedant Jaipuria, Siddhant Jori, and Jia Jain, currently undergoing their training. What makes this conversation even more valuable is that while two of them come from mid sized firms, one represents the experience of working at a big four, all within the auditing domain. They bring with them three perspectives, three journeys, and one shared goal to give us a clear picture of what articleship truly demands, delivers, and how it shapes a future chartered accountant. Following their valuable insights, our esteemed mentor, CA Chandan Jhawar sir, will share his expert remarks to provide clear direction and practical perspectives on the articleship journey. To officially commence today's program, I request our Vikasa chairman, CA Jitendra Sanglani sir, the driving force behind this initiative, to deliver his welcome address and set the tone for the evening.
Thank you so much, Mahi. First and foremost, in absentia, CA Ketan Sayya sir, and I would rightly say this that he's the driving force behind all the initiatives that we are taking. The team Vikasa, the three most eminent speakers, student speakers, I think would be coming for the first time on board and would be talking here, and the mentor, CA Chandan Jhawar ji. Along with that, the volunteers who are doing the honors today of MOC as well as introduction. So Divya and Mahi, and from the team Vikasa, I see Karishma here. So friends and the participants, I know the attendance is a little low today, but at the same time, this is getting recorded and this would be uploaded on the Vikasa channel. And most of the students whom we are trying to connect are yet to be articles. So the reach would be somewhat an issue today, but at the same time, the value of this session would be immense if they say go and online access these kind of videos and understand what the session is all about. So friends, articleship is one area in the entire curriculum of chartered accountancy, which is much more beautiful. And why I say so, because a member actually teaches you say what is to be done and also gives you a stipend for that. So have you heard something like this, that you are getting something as well as you are being taught something and as well as you are being paid for that? So that is something wonderful and hand-holding done by chartered accountant of the aspiring students. And this program, wherein the domain knowledge is to be delivered by three students, is wonderful idea which has come up from Team Vikasa themselves. So I congratulate first and foremost the Team Vikasa for bringing this wonderful idea in this program of SAMVAAD. SAMVAAD, again, we had one session earlier and that was at 7 p.m. in the evening. So I think the timing change is again kind of say today's say attendance is because of all that. But nevertheless, I think we are actually much more determined that we'll be having one more session tomorrow, and the people who are coming tomorrow also would be sharing their thoughts, and these videos would be uploaded at the YouTube channel of Vikasa, and students can take utmost benefit of this. I think I like to thank all the four contributors today, right from Chandan ji, Siddhant, Jia, and Vedant. And I think they have done a lot of say detailing as to how is to be this topic is to be covered. So thank you so much for accepting our invitation, and looking forward to have much more meaningful interactions with you all, and a happy learning to everyone. Thank you so much. Over to you, Mahi.
Thank you so much, sir, for the warm and inspiring start. We are honored to have with us the treasurer of WIRC, CA Dr. Fenil Shah, sir. I invite him to kindly share his thoughts with us.
Mahi, Fenil sir is not there personally, so you can ask say Ketan sir to please address the gathering.
Okay, sir. To continue this momentum, I now take this opportunity to welcome our WIRC chairman, CA Ketan Sayyar sir, to share a few words and give a purposeful opening to today's session.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Mahi. Chairman Vikasa, Jitendra ji, the learned mentor for the day, Chandan, and I've been I had worked with Chandan as in the Vikasa team. So Chandan, very very happy to see you here on this program on
Thank you,
guidance for
sir.
the articleship.
Thank you. Thank you.
And as rightly told by the chairman Vikasa, I think this is the one such time which you will cherish throughout your life, and the fun learning, and also as he rightly said, the stipend payment which we get are the sweet memories for the future. I on this occasion I recollect that when we used to get 225 rupees as a stipend at the end of month, we were so happy. And the entire learning which has happened in articleship is being useful today also. So you have to take articleship with your enjoyment seriously and learn those things, and those things will be useful for throughout your life. As he rightly said, we as a CA never feel that we are creating our own competitors. Rather, we are happy teaching all our students, be it as article, be it as trainee, and we see to it that they learn whatever we know, and they grow in their life, and they become a successful chartered accountant. My heartiest congratulations to Vikasa for this wonderful concept, thinking through inviting three students who have done articleship in a different size of firm. Somebody doing in large firm, somebody doing mid-sized firm, and somebody is doing in small size firm. Friends, let me tell you that all places, be it large firm, be it mid-sized firm, be it small firm, will have its own advantage and disadvantage. Nothing is good, nothing is bad. The person who is working or doing articleship in large firm may have exposure to one area. Person who is working in the smaller office, he himself may be the boss. Person working in the mid-size office will have a flavor of both the large firm as well as the small firm. But all three are unique experience, and wherever articleship you get and you do, please put your 100% and make it very very meaningful for the people around you, including your principal. With these words, I thank the Vikasa team for having me invited here and allowing me to address all of you. Thank you so much. Mai, you can take it forward.
Thank you so much, sir, for such a thoughtful and motivating address. And now, to introduce our mentor and the three speakers for today, I invite Divya Patil to take over.
Thank you, Mahi. Good evening, everyone. It gives me immense pleasure to introduce the esteemed mentor, speakers who have joined us today to guide us on our CA articleship journey. Our mentor for the session is CA Chandan Jhawar, a chartered accountant who qualified in May 2023. CA Chandan is currently associated with BNP Paribas Bank in the Finance and Controls Department, serving as a part of the second line of defense. His contributions to the student fraternity are noteworthy, having served as the MCM of Vikasa for 2021 to 2022 and currently being an active member of the Student Academic Committee under WIRC. Among his many accolades, he has been awarded Student of the Year by RVG Educational Foundation, Best Presenter in his GMCS batch, and has judged various ICAI regional competitions. A passionate singer, cricketer, geopolitical analyst, motivational speaker, and mentor to many, he truly embodies the spirit of holistic growth. Following our mentor's remarkable profile, let us now turn to our speakers who bring their own unique journey and experiences to the table. Our first speaker, Vedansh Jaipuria, is hailing from Nagpur and coming from a family of chartered accountants. Vedansh has always been inspired by numbers. A consistent performer, he cleared both foundation and inter in his first attempt, bagging an All India rank 12 in CA Inter. Currently undergoing articleship at Deloitte in statutory audit division, he has worked on clients in the chemical sector. Outside work, he's an avid stock market enthusiast, cyclist, and sports lover who enjoys reading in his leisure time. From Vedant's academic excellence and professional exposure, we now move to someone whose wide ranging audit experience adds another dimension to today's discussion. Siddhant Jori. Siddhant has completed his articleship from Rathi and Company, where he gained rich experience in both internal and statutory audits, covering a wide range of industries. His strong understanding of internal controls and assurance services is complemented by his passion for fitness, weekend sports, and travel, which keep him both balanced and broad minded in perspective. Adding to this rich mix of experiences, our next speaker brings in a perspective shaped by leadership and hands-on exposure in internal audits. Jia Jain. Jia Jain is a CA final student currently undergoing articleship at NA Shah Associates LLP, specializing in internal audit. Right from her first year, she showed in leadership by independently guiding teams. She has extensively worked on mall audits of Phoenix Mills, covering SOP compliance, tenant billing audits, and revenue assurance. Her detailed exposure to internal processes reflects both maturity and dedication. With such a diverse and inspiring panel, we are all set for an insightful and enriching session ahead. Let's join together in giving a warm welcome to our mentors and speakers.
Thank you so much, Divya, for that warm introduction. As you all can already tell, we have got a wonderfully diverse panel with us today. Before we begin, let me quickly walk you through how the session will unfold. Each one of our speakers will take around 15 minutes to share their unique articleship journey. Once we have heard all three, our esteemed mentor will join in to share his expertise and takeaway and tie all together. To begin our interaction, we have someone who has consistently raised the bar with both academic and professional journey. Mr. Vedansh Jaipuria, a proud AIR 12 ranker. Let's hear from him about what life at Big Four truly is and how the experience is shaping his path ahead. So, Vedansh, can you walk us through what a typical work day at Deloitte looks like, as you are an article in the statutory audit, and what client engagements or responsibilities have you found most insightful so far?
Sure, Mahi. Before starting, I would like to thank Picasa for giving me an opportunity to be a speaker today. And thanks, Mahi and Divya, for the introduction. So, coming to how has been my experience like at Deloitte. So, firstly, I would like to talk about my experience, and then I will share my opinion on why I think you should or should not join a Big Four, and then why you should or should not choose audit. So coming to my experience first, so I've been at Deloitte since approximately 11 months now. I had joined in August 2024, and I would say that my experience has been good. Not very good, not very bad, just I would say it has been good, both in terms of the work culture that I have experienced here and the kind of work that I have got in terms of the quality of work. Now, within work culture, I would say that the team in which I was in was very good to work with. We had a lot of fun conversations, most of the times, and they were always patient with my doubts. So, like when you join as an article, uh, you don't understand what you are doing in the beginning, and you will have a lot of doubts. So, ideally, you should be having a team which are patient with your doubts, even if you ask them multiple times. They are happy to clear your doubts, and that's what I got at Deloitte. Then secondly, again in terms of work culture, I would say at Deloitte particularly, we have this one thing called as Coffee with Leader, where every month you get to schedule a session with one of Deloitte's partners, and they can be in audit, they can be in tax, or they can be in other practice as well. So you get to schedule a 30-minute session, one-on-one session with them, and in those 30 minutes, you can discuss anything you want with them, be it on the academic side, be it what the partner does, or be it regarding any of your problems that you are facing in your articleship. That was one thing I liked about the culture here. Then moving on to the work quality which I have got. So before I tell you what was the kind of work that I got, I would just like to give a disclaimer that in your first year of articleship, especially in Big Fours, the kind of work which you get wouldn't be something that you might be dreaming to be do right now when you have cleared your inter. So moving on after that, so I would say the work quality which I got here was, I would say, okayish. So like 50% of my time would go on tasks which don't require me to put much of my brain to use. This is, for example, vouching, that is matching the amounts from the invoices, seeing whether the party name is the same or not, writing emails, sending follow-ups, taking printouts, organizing them, etc. And the rest 50% is the work where you actually need to understand what you are doing, and maybe go through the accounting standards, the standards on auditing, sit with the client, sit with your seniors to ask their help. And so, yeah, so as I said, 50% of the time went towards tasks where you did not have to put your brain too much use, and 50% was something interesting. Uh, yeah, and apart from this, so initially when I had joined, I didn't really understand what I was doing and why was it being done. But 6 months after you join, for most people, you start to get a sense of what is being done and why is it being done, and you become able to take on more responsibility, both in terms of your own ability and your team's trust about what you can do and the kind of work you can handle. And so after 6 months is ideally the time when you can expect to get better work. But alongside better work, the boring tasks will mostly continue. That is, you will be required to do the invoice testing sometimes. You will be required to take the printouts. So that continues. Yeah, so that has been my experience in a gist at Deloitte. And apart from this, a typical day looks like going to the office, checking whether whatever the so like for example, if I am handling an area like trade payables, so I have to check whether I have sent all the requirements to the client, whether the client has sent the data that I need. Then the data which the client sent, I need to check that, I need to audit that, see if the data is in the form which I require, and if it is not, then again follow up with the client. And apart from that, doing your audit procedures on the trade payable areas. And so, as Divya mentioned in my introduction, I have mostly worked on audits of clients in the chemical sector. So it was not that I was restricted to the chemical sector uh, by an organization structure. It just happened with me that most of the clients which my partner handled, they were mostly in the chemical sector, and that's what I got. So that was something by chance and not by design, I would say. You can probably have clients in different sectors also when you do your articleship. So after this, I would like to share my opinion on why or why not should you join a Big Four. So why you should join a Big Four, I would say there could be three reasons. If you want to do a job later on, or even if you don't foresee yourself doing a job in the long term, but you want to do, let's say, job in the initial part of your career for 2 years, for 3 years, or 4 years, in that case, I would say Big Four candidates who have done their articleships from a Big Four, they definitely get preference at a lot of places. It is not that you will get the job easily, but you will definitely, the company shortlisting you will definitely prefer you can over candidates who are not from a Big Four. So if you want to do a job later on, then probably Big Four is the place to go. And apart from that, if you join back at a Big Four, then you also get a promotion up the ladder. You skip the first level that uh, people would have joined at right after their qualification, or you get a faster promotion in other cases. Apart from that, again, so if you want to do an industrial training after your first year of articleship, then again, candidates with a Big Four articleship get a preference at a lot of places. I'm not saying it's necessary, but yes, you do get a reference. You do get a preference. So that is another reason why you might want to join a Big Four. And there are some aspects in Big Fours or Big Six, which you might not find in mid-size or small-size firms. And one would be you work on huge clients from day one. So when I had joined, I was put on the audit of a listed chemical manufacturer, and it had a revenue of 15,000 crores. So that was the kind of client exposure I got on day one. And this is, I would say, somewhat rare if you join a mid-size firm or a small-size firm, since they are handling smaller clients. But again, that need not be that big a problem, since your client's revenue does not necessarily affect your experience regarding the quality of work you do. Then apart from that, you also get to work with CAs directly. So a lot of times in small size or mid size firms, it happens that the seniors you are working with, they might not have cleared their CA. They have cleared their inter, and they have been in the firm since quite some time, and they definitely have the audit experience, but they are not CAs. But in Big Fours or Big Six, your teammates will always, all of them will be CAs apart from the articles. Uh, yeah. Now moving on to why you may not want to join a Big Four. So if you are sure when you're starting your articleship that you are going to set up your own practice later on, so in that case, joining a mid-size or small-size firms gives you a better view of what you will probably be working like down the line, what your office will look like down the line when you start your own practice. So that is one reason I think that if you want to start your own practice, then you should look at an articleship from a mid-size or small-size firm. But having said that, I would also like to mention that a lot of people do their articleships from a Big Four, and then they start their own practice, and those practices are successful. So that need not be that big a concern also. Secondly, why you should not choose a Big Four is if you want to see practically what is being done, not just in audit or not just in tax. If you absolutely want to see the practicality of different fields, then so in Big Fours or in Big Six, or let's say in a city like Mumbai, all majorly most mid-sized firms will give you an articleship in a particular domain, let's say audit or tax. Within a Big Four, it will be like stat audit only or internal audit only, direct tax only or indirect tax only. And mid-size might give you an option between those two broad areas. But yes, you will be restricted to either tax or audit in major mid-size or Big Fours or Big Sixes in Mumbai. So in those cases, you might want to go to a small size firm to get an exposure of all the areas. But then you will also have to consider about the kind of work that is available at that small size firm. It might happen that while they do audit and tax, both majorly their clients are in tax only, and your experience might revolve around that only then. Okay, so uh, third point is why should you do an articleship in audit? So, first point is easy. If you were very interested in audit in during your inter studies, then I would recommend that you do an articleship in audit. However, please keep in mind that what you studied and what you will practically do here will be very different. And to get a better understanding of how will your work look like versus what you studied, I would say that get in touch with people who are in audit on LinkedIn and try asking them this question. So you'll get a better understanding of what is actually being done versus what you studied. So like you used to study accounting standards, but while auditing, you do not necessarily have to go through the standards. You just have to perform the audit procedures which your firm typically performs. So that is one difference I would say uh, compared to what you study. Then secondly, you should choose audit if you are not really sure where you want to go. In that case, audit is good to start with. There definitely will be bad work in the beginning in your first year or first 6 months, as I said earlier. But after that time period, you will know for sure whether you want to do audit or whether you don't want to do audit. And audit keeps most of your options open after qualification, both in terms of traditional fields like accounting, audit, and tax, and non-traditional fields also like IBP, etc. You can go through LinkedIn and check the profiles of people who are in IBP, and you will see that a lot of them would have been in audit earlier. And there are some things which you only get to do in audit, like front-facing client interaction. That doesn't happen in tax, I believe. You most of your time is spent in the office with your team only, but in audit you are mostly at the client place and you are directly interacting with the client, and you get to do that as an article as well. And apart from that, you can, if you love to travel, then you might get some outstation clients in audit, and that is when you get to travel and you get to experience other cities as well. Now, lastly, why should you not choose audit? So, if you are really interested in tax, then tax is the way to go. Please do not do an articleship in audit if you are really interested in tax. And second point is if you are really concerned about your studies and if you are also doing some courses like CFA on the side, then I would say it might get a little difficult with audit compared to tax. There are a lot of people who do it with audit also. I have a lot of friends who have cleared their CFA L1. There are some who have cleared their L2 also with audit. But it has definitely been very difficult for them compared to how they would have done it if they were in tax. So final studies are definitely possible with audit. In my experience there, I did not face any problems managing my final studies with audit. You always have your free time in the morning which you can use to study, and you also have your weekends. Uh, and also the articleship has been reduced from 3 to 2 years now, so you have more time for revision in the end, and you only have to study for 6 subjects now compared to 8 subjects earlier. So final studies are very manageable with audit. But I would say that if you are doing other courses as well, for example, CFA alongside, then I would say it would definitely be easier with tax or other domains. Uh, since audit sometimes get very uh, your working hours go up a lot during the peak times, and you don't really get time to study in those periods. So yeah, so if you are really concerned about your studies and you also want to pursue some courses alongside, in that case, I would suggest you to not take audit. I think that's it from my side. If the attendees have any questions, you can take that now, or if that is to be done in the end, then that's fine.
Okay, so having understood what actually a workday looks like in Deloitte and why or why not Big Four and why or why not audit, we have taken into consideration a few questions on behalf of the audience. And also in the meantime, you all can put your other questions in the chat box. So Vedansh, could you tell us how should you apply in Deloitte for articleship and what were your initial rounds of interview?
Yeah. So coming on to first answering, how should you apply at Deloitte? So the easiest way to get in, or the way through which most people get in, is through a reference. So Deloitte doesn't put a test link like KPMG does, I think. So you won't get any test link like that on LinkedIn. So the best way is to, if you know someone who is at Deloitte personally, then ask them to refer your CV, send them your CV and ask them to refer you on the Deloitte's talent portal. If you do not know someone personally who is at Deloitte, then try reaching out to as many people as possible on LinkedIn and ask them to refer your CV. So you will get your CV referred if firstly you have to make a good looking CV. That's the first thing, and then you just reach out to as many people as possible on LinkedIn. So if you, for example, let's say reach out to 10 people, or let's say if you reach out to 20 people, then at least one or two of them will definitely refer you on the talent portal. So that is one. uh Secondly, your second question was, I think, how many rounds of interview did I have? So since I had a rank, I only had one round of interview. That was the partner round directly. But typically the interview process is that you have a GD first, then you have a technical round, and then you have the partner round. But for anchors, you directly have the partner round.
Okay, thank you so much, Vedansh, for the structured glimpse of your journey in Big Four. It's always inspiring to hear how strong academic foundations translate into real world exposure and experience. Moving ahead, we have with us our second speaker, Mr. Siddhant Jori, whose experience spans across both internal and statutory audit, giving him a well-rounded view of audit ecosystem. Siddhant, since you have had an exposure of both kinds of audit, how would you compare the nature of work and learning in each? And we have often heard that mid-sized firms are often preferred for broader responsibilities. Hence, what kind of client interactions or tasks have helped you to grow during your articleship?
Thank you, Vikasa, for arranging this session and giving me this opportunity. Thank you, Mai, for the wonderful introduction. And to Vedant also for speaking about Deloitte. It was really amazing to know. So speaking about internal audit and stat audit from going from a mid-sized firm, it was really amazing experience from clientele purpose also, because we get to have an experience of MNC's client interaction, direct facing clients. Sometimes we need to handle the clients from starting from its planning till its execution and completion. In that we get to use a we got to introductions with the client, where it's very important to understand what the process is about. So in internal audit, the core CA courses, it's not used. You need to be open-minded. You need to have analytical skills, which is helpful for understanding the business process. Then you have to bring out the observations, the improvement points, what are the risk areas the client is facing, how you are going to mitigate those risks, and is there any financial impact over company's business. So in this way, you need to handle the client, handle the financials of the company, and then you have to present in a structured manner where your presentation skills get tested, and whether you are able to convince the client that this is the flaws what is appearing in your process, and in this way you have to rectify. So basically internal audit is all about, I would say, it's not in books. All you have to be on ground expertise. You should have the client what you're doing. So mostly my work experience was in automobile, FMCG, hospitality, and chemicals, I would say. So it gave me a vast expertise over all the processes. So I would like to brief about some processes, like there are P2P, procurement to pay, order to cash, that is O2C, HR, third party. So all these are the business processes based on which a business runs, and all this impact goes in stat audit. So I got a very nice experience where I got to know about the business process, then what impact it create on the financials while doing stat audit. So it was a really good experience.
Okay, so Chandan sir, you have interacted with so many students so far all these years being a mentor. So what are your views of doing an articleship in a mid-size firm? And do you think students should generally consider mid-size firm over Big Four because they get decent amount of time to study?
Thank you so much, Mahi. Am I audible? Yes, and are people in the chat, can they write? Are they restricted or they can write? The one who are attending.
Yes, sir, they can write
They
in the
can
question
write?
box.
Okay,
Yes.
perfect, perfect. Can I have chat box active? Can I have the chat box active, guys? Come on, CA finalist. I think most of your results have come, I think 6th on July, if I'm not wrong. तो फटाफट लिखो कितने लोग खुश हो क्या लिखो कुछ तो पता चले. How many of them are attending the session? Anyone? Are they restricted? No, I'm not sure.
So they can ask questions in the Q&A box, but the chat
Okay.
box is disabled.
Okay, perfect. ठीक है, तो you're coming back to your question, what should be the mid-size approach, right? Whether an article should go and do his articleship from a mid-size firm or not. So again, there is no concrete answer to this. I would say that all depends on what exactly do you think about yourself, or a very typical interview question which says, where do you look to yourself at the end of 5 years, which is a very common question that is being asked. Mid-size would be recommended only if you want to establish your own practice. However, the one who was speaking just before me, the one with the big four tag, he told one thing very very correct, which is people who want to establish their own practice, they also take the big four route or the mid-size route. Both routes are available now. If you want to establish your own practice in big four or big six cities, because no one would be waiting for you to qualify so that they can sign their audit report and everything, right? There are multiple CAs in the market who can do it. Am I right till here? Now the point is, if you want to establish your own practice, and that too at your tier 2 or a tier 3 city, right, then it is advisable to go with the mid size. Because if at all you want to try yourself or test yourself in terms of practice in a typical region of Bombay, Delhi, Bangalore, Chennai, NCR, other such regions, you would be, only be handled, or you would be only be bestowed with the typical department that you have done your articleship in. Okay, so I really hope I'm clear with this, that if and only if go with a mid-size, if you want to establish your own practice at your hometown, because I am very sure, or to the best of my knowledge, you would be studying all the Indias in your financial reporting and CA finals, but down there in the tier 2 or tier 3 cities, still accounting standards are prevailing. So might be your knowledge or your practical knowledge would not be that, what I would say, would not be that justifiable. So that all depends on your vision, whether what you have to do or not. Coming back to your point, from studies perspective, I think with me qualifying in May 23, CA final with 8 subjects. Now to it is six, with 8 subjects, and with 6 months time that you people have prior to your exams. Even if you start your studies 6 months of your articleship later, still you can very well cover your CA final syllabus. There is no problem with that. So your decision of mid-size should not be what should not be hampered, or should not be opinionated by the term of your CA finals curriculum. That would be from my end. Mahi, over to you.
Thank you so much, sir. Siddhant, I have certain questions for you. So if you are okay, can I ask them?
Yes, yes, sure, Mani.
Okay. So the first question is, do you feel that the exposure here in mid-sized firms is balanced across all domains?
It is balanced across all domains because everyone is flexible in working here. So it's based on the preferences what you have. Like if you want to work in corporate tax and audit also, you can have both. Like first year in compliance and second year in taxation. So it's completely based on your preferences what you like. So, but to have preference also, if you have no idea also, you can just sit beside your colleague, you can ask them questions about it, you can work and then explore that this domain is right for me. So it gives an edge to explore all areas also and then choose which field you want to make. So mid-size and small size is very good opportunity to meet them, and where you can also know to how to lead a assignment also, and directly interact with partners and managers also, which gives you a broader insight over how to get the work done, how to handle the client, and how the assignments is done on a right way with a macro view.
Okay, so now there is this one question in the chat box which I like to take up.
Yeah.
How does the exposure in a mid-sized firm help if someone later wants to switch industry or even a
Mhm.
big four after qualification?
Okay, so even if you want to switch an industry or want to switch to Big Four, you have an immense technical knowledge. You have got your presentation skills, you get your technical knowledge in hand. You so basically it's an overall exposure. So you are trained in such a way that your managing skills are uh, taken well, then your technical skills. So when an overall package goes in for an interview, it's always a experience thing to do, even if there are some reference policy also. But in the end, everyone sees your work. So how you are gonna take the work, how you are do in time delivering the work, managing the work, etc.
Okay, so the next question we have is what was your most challenging moment during your articleship and how did you deal with it?
Okay, so most challenging part for my articleship was the initial days where I joined internal audit. So internal audit it was not in my books. So starting my articleship journey there was a very tough thing. Like it had a very friction. So don't know where to start, where whom to reach out. But my manager, my seniors were really supportive, where they took me along with them to client bases, told me that how it is done. Then got to much my learning curve started when I started client interaction, when client used to tell about his processes, how the business is run. So from where my process started, my learning started was that phase.
So the another question is how do you document your work or learning for future use?
Okay, so for my personal use, I maintain an Excel file for myself where I document everything, every learning, whether it be a small or a big learning. Let's take some examples regarding like MSME interest. Everyone is very in dilemma like how the MSME interest is calculated. The new 43BH section has came recently for that. So in every small thing, I document it in my personal Excel sheet, whether which will use for my future reference also or for my any peer article also.
Okay, so having understood the entire worklay about mid-sized firms, what
Mhm.
was the most exciting part about audit as working in a mid-size?
So the most exciting part about audit in a mid-sized firm is that in big fours you usually get a single area for a much longer period, like for a Q1 or Q2, like 2 quarters. But in mid-size you can have overall audit. You can do overall audit by yourself with a team of 2 or 3. So you can get hands-on experience on all the areas, whether it's be revenue, whether it's stat dues, whether it's payroll. So having an overall exposure in very few time and managing it with different domains, like whether with manufacturing, whether with FMCG, so that gives you a broad dynamics to work on.
Okay, so Siddhant, there is generally a difference between what we study at the bookish knowledge and the
Mm,
actual practical working about audit. So
yes.
how is the both things different, and would you recommend people to take up this domain for their articleship?
Okay. So speaking about the books and the real practical knowledge, I would say books are underrated when we try to connect at working, like when we are preparing the RCM, the IFCs, or everything is written in there. What can go wrong? So when we prepare our work papers, we can see there. Of course, the business dynamics changes everything, but it is interrelated in some of the other way. And talking about to choosing a domain here, it's completely about the preferences what a person has. So my interest was in internal and stat audit domain. So compliance was a weaker side of mine, but my domain expertise eventually grown in internal and stat audit based on my liking, my preferences, what my mentors helped me to understand.
Okay, so we'll take up one last question from the chat box. It
Yes, sure.
says, are articles in internal audit exposed to operational audits, risk assessments, and consulting type work as well?
Yes, definitely. So in internal audit, every audit is a risk-based audit where the risk is defined by the partners. Uh, what all risk is involved in the following process, like let be inventory, in inventory, sales, etc. So management consulting roles also, for example, I had done an assignment of spread cost analysis where I helped a client to reduce its spread cost. So everything is covered in internal audit, whether it be process improvements, whether it is risk based, or identifying or improving the business process.
Okay, thank you so much, Siddhant. If there are certain questions, we'll take that towards the end.
Yes, sure. Thank you so much, Mani.
Um, Hearing about the contrast and complement between internal and statutory audit truly adds the depth to our understanding of the field. And now, to complete this panel of perspectives, we have a final speaker, Ms. Jia Jain, having a focused exposure in internal audit. So, Jia, being an internal auditor gives you a seat at the table where business decisions are reviewed. How has this perspective changed the way you look at organizations, and what kind of roles and opportunities have you taken up during your articleship journey, which has really contributed towards learning? Miss Jia Jain, am I audible? Okay, so I feel like she is facing some network issues. Um, Chandan sir, we would like to ask you how was your how was your articleship journey, and what advice do you have to give to students who are currently looking out for articleship opportunities?
Thank you so much, Mahi. I'll probably take 10 minutes from here to actually explain them the broader view. So, firstly, thank you so much, Mahi, for giving me this opportunity to answer this question. And here again, congratulating all the CA intercleared students. Finally, जो एक सपना था कि CA finalist अपने नाम से पहले लिखे is at your plate, and I'm very sure you all have written this. Coming back to the main agenda of articleship, when we started doing chartered accountancy, and I think most of us will agree, we have always thought that articleship is going to be our honeymoon period. Ultimately, life ke maze aayenge. We'll be having all the fun. We'll be having every goddamn thing. Making friends. We'll be chilling out with them. We'll be going for outstation audit, which is a new trend. I know how people start like कि यार चलो दूसरे शहर में जाएंगे घूमेंगे फिरेंगे. Everything was there, right? But when we cleared our CA intermediate, forget CA intermediate, I mentor CA final, newly qualified CA. So imagine this people also come and ask me, "Ki, sir, where do my interests lie?" And I'm like, okay, now, addressing to you people, the one who have qualified CA chartered accountancy, they have 3 years of experience. They've had a lot of interactions with a lot of people, correct? अगर उनको 3 साल बाद सीए क्लियर करने पे भी आज भी कंफ्यूजन है कि शुड वेयर शुड आई गो, तो आपको इस पॉइंट पे कंफ्यूजन होना इज वेरी वेरी नेचुरल. Firstly, let's be very clear and practical. None of us, including me, I'm not sure if anyone was that clear. Do reach do maybe write it in on the chat box. None of us was very clear what has to be done. It was a spontaneous decision. It was a calculated risk that we all are taking, including me, after also 2 years of post qualification. Having said that, don't worry, Chan. Okay, because most of us, including newly CAs, have no idea. But now I want to take an example of a swimming pool. ठीक है जी? There is a swimming pool. You have got your CA intermediate का degree as the pass to enter that swimming pool. ठीक है? There was this watchman waiting at the door, and he let you in because you had this CA intermediate का pass वाला result, and you get in that swimming pool. Over, right? Now tell me, how will you learn swimming just by standing over there and observing people? There is no way, right? There is no way to learn swimming by just observing people. Now, the life in front of you or the swimming pool in front of you has statutory audit in it, internal audit in it, transfer pricing, mergers and acquisitions, investment banking, private equity, equity research, FDD, forensics. Such a big swimming pool to get into, right? But until and unless you get into that swimming pool, you maybe drove yourself down once or twice, is the time when you will going to learn the swimming. Is point पे you are not at all inside the pool, right? So my agenda or my perspective of using this example was, अभी आप लोग सिर्फ बाहर खड़े हो. The moment आप आर्टिकलशिप में जंप करोगे, जंप इज अ रॉन्ग वर्ड, आप जब एंटर करोगे, जब 10 लोगों से बात करोगे, 15 लोगों से और सीखोगे सीनियर से, देन यू विल गेट द क्लैरिटी स्लोली एंड ग्रेजुअली. सो जिसको आइडिया नहीं है अभी क्या करना है, एब्सोल्युटली फाइन. ठीक है. अब मुझे जो सेकंड पॉइंट टच करना है वो ये है कि जो सीएस, जो पोस्ट क्वालिफाइड सीए होता है, जो अभी May 25 जिनका रिजल्ट आया, the life becomes really difficult for a newly qualified CAs at the initial 6 months, in industry. You know why? Because the very first thing that people get to hear is, we have hired CA or we have hired you because we trust your work abilities. We don't have to review your work again. This is the stamp that we get when we hire you because you are a CA, right? वो बेस कब बनता है? वो बनता है आर्टिकलशिप में. The very first speaker who told कि यार मेरे ना seniors, they have always been guiding me, even I asked hundreds of times to question to them and all. Why is this happening in the first year of articleship? Because you are allowed to make mistakes now. You are allowed to make any mistakes. You are allowed to ask any questions, any rubbish questions, any foolish questions. There is no limit to it. But once you have this degree, you cannot ask कि सर prepaid expense की क्या entry है. अरे सर, अगर मैंने लॉयर सर्विसेज ली तो आरसीएम अट्रैक्ट हो रहा है कि नहीं हो रहा है. अरे सर, इस पे फिर 194 जो अट्रैक्ट होगा कि नहीं होगा. बिकॉज देन यू विल बी एंड यू विल ऑलवेज बी अज्यूम दैट यू विल नो ऑल दिस. और जो 6 महीने, जैसे दैट हैव टेकन एग्जांपल, न्यूली क्वालिफाइड सीएस के जो स्टार्टिंग के 6 महीने होते हैं, अगर वो बेस बनता है आपके आर्टिकलशिप में. सो जो आप इनिशियल 6 मंथ्स कोई भी डोमेन में जाओ, सी आई ऑल्सो कम बैक टू द डोमेन पार्ट, विच एवर डोमेन यू गो, डोंट बी बॉदर्ड अबाउट योर स्टडीज राइट अवे. ट्रस्ट मी, 2 साल में सीए फाइनल आराम से होता है, 6 महीने लास्ट के और 1.5 साल जो आपके बचेंगे आफ्टर 6 मंथ्स ऑफ आर्टिकलशिप, आराम से सीए फाइनल की पढ़ाई होती है. नहीं होती है तो मेरे पास आना, मैं आपको प्लान बना के दूंगा. यू जस्ट हैव टू एग्जीक्यूट इट. इट इज वेरी सिंपल. एटलीस्ट considering 6 subjects and 18 to 24 months in your hand. So my advice would be to initially invest in 6 months of your articleship. Properly and dedicatedly invest and learn Excel. Since you people have no idea about what Excel is, what Word is, what PowerPoint is, तुम लोगों को कोई आइडिया नहीं है अभी. तुमने बस एक IT करा है, वो भी फन वन में अपन निकाल देते हैं. So let us be very honest. You don't know much about it. It is the time to learn. It is the time to make mistakes, right? And now coming back to the next point, सर अभी हमको कुछ पता ही नहीं है करना क्या है लाइफ में, कोई आइडिया नहीं है, बिकॉज वी हैव नो क्लू व्हाट डू वी वांट इन आवर लाइफ. ठीक है. आपको मैं सिर्फ एक छोटा सा चार्ट पेपर बना के दूंगा जहां पे आपको शायद एक थोड़ी सी क्लैरिटी आए लाइफ में कि आपको करना क्या है. ठीक है. माही, डू आई हैव 5 minutes मोर?
Yes, sir, definitely.
परफेक्ट. ठीक है. सो लेट मी गिव यू ऑल अ क्लैरिटी. ठीक है. देखो, नो वन इन दिस वर्ल्ड कैन टेल यू कि वेर योर इंटरेस्ट लाइज. नॉट अनफॉर्चुनेटली, नॉट इवन योर मदर, नॉट इवन योर फादर, नॉट इवन एनी वन ऑफ अस हु विश nothing but the best for you. But how to know कि where do my interest lie? As I clearly mentioned in the beginning of my speech, it is only and only when you start, entering the swimming pool or when you enter the swimming pool, right? अब having said that, सर थोड़ा तो बता दो कि किस पर्सपेक्टिव से देखना चाहिए. यस, आई कैन डेफिनेटली गिव यू द पर्सपेक्टिव कि हाँ ये सारी चीजें अवेलेबल है, ये सारी आपकी चीजें प्लेट में है. अब इसमें से कौन सी आपकी फेवरेट डिश है, दैट यू हैव टू पिक. ठीक है. अब व्हाट आर द डिशेस अवेलेबल? सिंपल है. अपन को पूरे आर्टिकलशिप को 4 पार्ट में डिवाइड करना है. ठीक है, 4 पार्ट में. वन इज यू वांट टू डू प्रैक्टिस पोस्ट क्वालिफिकेशन. ठीक है. अदर इज यू वांट टू डू जॉब पोस्ट क्वालिफिकेशन. And the other two are you want to do an entrepreneurship sort of a thing या family business and all those stuff. And चौथी चीज शायद आपको टीचिंग करनी है, right? अब मेरे हिसाब से आर्टिकलशिप के बाद या सीए बनने के बाद इन 4 के अलावा आपकी कोई कैटेगरी में फिट नहीं होगा कोई और चीज, राइट? अगर वो होगी तो अकॉर्डिंगली यू हैव दोज आंसर्स. नाउ कमिंग बैक टू द प्रैक्टिस, इफ यू आर सो श्योर इन लाइफ दैट यू वांट टू डू प्रैक्टिस, और मतलब ऐसा सोच रहे हो कि यार प्रैक्टिस करके थोड़ा ना मजा आएगा, आई कैन गो फॉर इट, then mid-size firm is the option. As I've clearly mentioned earlier, अगर आपकी प्रैक्टिस आपके होम टाउन tier 2 या tier 3 cities में है, then go for a mid-size, because in a mid-size you'll get AS client as well, जो आपके टाउन में होंगे. बिग 4 में आपको AS clients, मुझे जितना पता है with my experience, hardly there are any AS clients which बिग 4 handles, right? सो अगर आपके दिमाग में ये है कि भाई मुझे प्रैक्टिस करना है, मुझे अपने घर पे प्रैक्टिस करनी है, या मुझे अपने tier 2 या tier 3 सिटी में प्रैक्टिस करनी है, go with a mid-size firm, have all the knowledge in this world. राइट नाउ अगर आपको प्रैक्टिस बॉम्बे या कोई बड़ी सिटी में करनी है, स्टैब्लिश करनी है, देन एज क्लियरली मेंशन बाय द अर्लियर स्पीकर, गो विद अ बिग 4. लेकिन प्रैक्टिस में जब आप श्योर हो लाइफ में कि यार मुझे प्रैक्टिस करनी है, तो इंडस्ट्रियल ट्रेनिंग में अपना दिमाग मत लगाओ. Instead, sharp your skills. Instead, work on sharpening your eggs so that you get to probably cut the best clients while you dive in this practice part. Okay. Now, what is the difference between a big 4 and a mid size? Okay. Coming back to my 4 angles, one was practice, job, entrepreneurship, and teaching. Right. Let me just plunge into job and then I'll come between the difference of big 4 and mid size. Job. अब जॉब में क्या है सर, मुझे ना सर इतना पता है कि मेरी फैमिली का कोई बिजनेस नहीं है सर. जो है मैं ही हूँ, मुझे ही करना है, और ना मेरी को इतनी रिस्क कैपेसिटी लेने की इतनी क्षमता है कि आई कैन स्टार्ट माई ओन प्रैक्टिस. राइट, अग्रीड. सबके सर्कमस्टेंसेस अलग होते हैं. जब आपको ये पता है कि आपको जॉब ही करना है लाइफ में, देन कीप इंडस्ट्रियल ऑप्शन ओपन फॉर लास्ट 1 ईयर. अब कौन से फॉर्म में कौन कौन ट्रांसफर देता है, दैट यू हैव टू फिगर इट आउट बाय टॉकिंग टू पीपल एंड रीचिंग आउट टू देम ओवर लिंक्डइन और एनी अदर प्लेस. ठीक है. अगर आपको ये पता चल गया कि लाइफ में यार मुझे मेरे पीछे कुछ नहीं है, फैमिली इज लुकिंग अप टू मी, आई हैव टू क्लियर, आई हैव टू मे बी फीड देम अप, देन जॉब इज फॉर यू. एंड जब आपके दिमाग में ये क्लियर हो जाएगा अच्छा जॉब है मेरे लिए, और बाय एनी चांस थोड़ी सी और लोगों से बात करके ये पता चल जाएगा, अरे यार यू नो व्हाट, शायद मार्केट में मुझे थोड़ा इंटरेस्ट आ रहा है, शायद वो लॉन्ग शॉर्ट कॉल ऑप्शन बाइंग ट्रेडिंग या कंपनी के फाइनेंशियल मॉडल्स बनाना, ये सब चीजें बहुत फैसिनेटिंग लग रही है. आपको अगर ये पता चल गया कि यार दिस इज द एरिया दैट यू लाइक, बेसिकली द एएफएम एरिया, द फाइनेंशियल मैनेजमेंट एरिया, मार्केट एरिया आई वुड से, तब आपको क्या करना है, आपको सिंपली एज आई सेड, अगर आप जॉब में जाने वाले हो तो आपको इंडस्ट्रियल करना ही चाहिए, ताकि आपको एक प्रेफरेंस मिलेगा जब आप क्वालिफाई कर जाओगे और एक कॉर्पोरेट टेस्ट मिलेगा. राइट. अब अगर आपको ये पता चल गया लाइफ में कि यार ये वाला जो एरिया है ना मार्केट वाला, ये बड़ा मेरे को फैसिनेटिंग कर रहा है, then then you know what you have to do, you have to get yourself in a firm which allows you for industrial, number 1. नंबर 2, अगर आपका चॉइसेस ये है कि भाई आपको ये पीई जैसे प्राइवेट इक्विटी, इन्वेस्टमेंट बैंकिंग, इक्विटी रिसर्च, ऐसी और भी प्रोफाइल जिसका शायद ट्रेजरी, जिसका शायद अपने को मतलब नहीं पता बट अपन को जाना है. इन्वेस्टमेंट बैंकिंग में क्या होता है सर, इस मोमेंट में कुछ नहीं पता बट मुझे तो इन्वेस्टमेंट बैंकिंग करना है, राइट? जैसे आप लोगों को स्टैट्यूटरी ऑडिट करना होता है आर्टिकलशिप के स्टार्टिंग में, राइट? सो अगर आपको ये वाली फील्ड्स में जाना है, सी टू बी ऑनेस्ट, नो वन हायर्स अ articleship fresher for this profile unless you have a very strong what I would say references. So it is only in the industrial training aspect जहाँ पे आपको लिया जाएगा. एंड इंडस्ट्रियल ट्रेनिंग में भी तभी रिनाउंड फर्म में आपका नाम आएगा जब आपके पास सीएफए जैसी डिग्री हो या एफआरएम हो. सो जो मैंने आपको बोला था, स्टार्टिंग के 6 महीने सीए फाइनल को टच भी मत करो, अपने आर्टिकलशिप पे वर्क करो, एंड देन ट्राई क्लियरिंग सीएफए L1 so that at most of the places you are preferred when you are trying for industrial training. क्लियर. बट अगर आपका दिमाग ही कुछ और है कि नहीं यार मुझे ये वाली साइड में नहीं जाना मार्केट, मुझे कंसल्टिंग साइड में जाना है, आई वांट टू आई वांट टू गिव माय एडवाइजरी टू पीपल, देन इंटरनल ऑडिट इज फॉर यू. जहाँ पे आप बिजनेस को समझते हो. स्टैट्यूटरी ऑडिट इज ऑन द अदर साइड, सिर्फ चेक करते हैं हम इंडेस से प्रॉपर मैच हो रहा है कि नहीं हो रहा है, फिगर हो रहा है कि नहीं हो रहा है, ये सब सही है कि नहीं है. बट एक्चुअल कहानी एक बिजनेस कैसे रन करता है इंटरनल ऑडिटर को पता होती है. Right. So this is how we have to approach job अगर पता है तो ऐसा. And then if you are going for entrepreneurship and teaching, complete your articleship from a mid-sized firm. Because अगर आपको टीचिंग में जाना है, आपको ऑडिट पढ़ाना है, then I would say go with Big 4, Big 6, ऑडिट लो, अच्छे से पढ़ो, उसको प्रैक्टिकल को थियोरी में डालो और अपने स्टूडेंट्स को परोस के दो. अगर entrepreneurship में जाना है बॉस, then you should have all the knowledge of everything. Entrepreneurship का मतलब क्या हुआ? स्टार्टअप करना. स्टार्टअप का मतलब क्या हुआ? You will be the CEO or CFO, right? And CEO or CFO is expected to know everything about finance, everything about balance sheet and P&L and cash flow or whatsoever you say, right? वो तभी possible है जब आप mid size से करो. ठीक है? So Mahi, that was the perspective that I wanted to give this people. Over to you.
I am really sorry I had connectivity issues.
No
Uh,
worries.
Thank you so much, sir. So well explained. And I think the amount of clarity that you have given to students, right from students to chartered accountant perspective, is commendable. And all the examples that you have given were so on point and well understood. The relatability and the experience with which you spoke was really very helpful. Moving on to our final speaker, Miss Jia Jain. You have had a focused exposure in internal audit. So, being an internal auditor gives you a seat at the table where business decisions are reviewed. How has this perspective changed the way you look at organizations, and what kind of roles or responsibilities have you taken up during your articleship that actually has helped you contribute to learning?
Okay, first of all, sorry for the delay, and I would like to thank the whole Vikasa team. And okay, I rightly agree with Chandan sir what he said. Like, if you want to like if you want to be an entrepreneur in the future, you must know the process how it works. So, being in internal audit has helped me a lot for that. Uh, so I would like to start with Anisha. Anisha is a upper mid-size firm. It doesn't come under Big Four, not even mid-size firm, because in our firm, in upper mid-size firm, we have departments. So rightly in while joining the firm, they made it very clear that we cannot switch interdepartmental domains are not possible. So once I choose internal audit, I'll have to continue with internal audit for the rest 2 years. So that is one, I would say, a drawback about upper mid-sized firm. And being an internal audit, the internal audit is not about process audit. We have so many different domains in internal audit also, like IRC testing, RCM drafting, internal audit as a core internal audit. So we learn so many things about a company, right from the procurement, like some Siddhansh, I guess he said, um, we have so many departments. We have so many departments in intern. Like for a company, if it's working, we have P2P, O2C, HR department, inventory, and different domains. So we get to experience everything. If we and working in Anisha, like upper mid-size firm, you get to you get to explore all the areas. Like if you are in revenue side, you're not only doing revenue, you get to do expenses as well, you get to do start as well, and everything related other things also. Okay, if you can please repeat your question once again, Mahi, please.
Yes. So the first question was, being an internal auditor, how has this perspective changed the way you look at organizations?
Okay, so firstly, when I chose internal audit, I was of the view that internal auditor looks after the company, like the management. what the management are actually doing. That is the only purpose of internal auditors. But I was wrong. We, as an internal auditor, we not only look at the management, we look at the company as a whole, like from a this top management perspective. So we ensure that the management is working as it should. The controls which are drafted already are in place. Process which are already existing, how can we make them better? How can we, the process which are already existing, how can we make it more effective and efficient? So it has changed my perspective regarding internal audit has changed a lot, and a company as a whole. As I mentioned, I have done 4 quarters for a mall. So now I can say I am a mall expert. I know how mall works right from the beginning till the end, like how a brand is onboarded and how it takes its exit. So we get to learn the whole process and the working of company.
Okay, so Gia, having understood what internal audit actually is, we do have certain questions on the behalf of the audience. So can I ask them?
Yeah.
Okay, so the first question is, what are the key skills needed to perform well in internal audit?
Okay, so the first and the foremost thing you should know is how to communicate well, because once internal audits start, you have to be in constant touch with the process owners. You have to understand the whole process, communicate with them, ask them about what are their duties and how are they doing that. So communication plays a very crucial role. You should you should be interactive, and you should know what to ask and when to ask. Like if someone is, if we are getting to know the process, we should be ready with the list of questions which needs to be asked. If I am a, I'm work I am let's say I am having a discussion with HR partner. So HR partner, so I should be ready with the list of questions which I'll be asking them during the discussion. And yeah, so basically this is the main main expertise which you should have for internal audit: good communication skills.
Okay, so
Yeah.
having understood what skills, there is often this one question that how is internal audit different from statutory audit in terms of working style?
Okay, so I would say uh, internal audit and stat audit are very different from each other. In stat audit, we like stat auditors are mainly focused on the financial part of the company, like balance sheet and P&L. They'll match the provision, they'll match the the figures which are mentioned in the balance sheet and P&L. But in internal audit, we internal auditors doesn't, like we are not involved in checking the balance sheet or P&L. We are mainly focused on the process. Internal audit is also will also known as risk advisory. So process is the main focus area for internal auditors. How the company is managing its overall work, and all the areas. Like for statutory auditors, I I cannot like say more about stat audit because I've not done it. But for internal audit, I would say like process is the main thing. Like, because we are not looking into the financials of the company, we are not going to comment on that. Also, manage will look for the workings of the management, what they are doing. We understand the process thoroughly and then advise where they are going wrong or what can they do to make it better.
Yeah, my to add maybe on the statutory aspect, which Jia has covered, I would say statutory audit is more about you get the financials ready and you have to check whether the financial are in compliance with the regulatory framework. Right? I think you are also doing articleship, my in statutory audit itself. Okay, it's a different domain altogether. Okay, great. Yeah, which domain you are in?
No, sir, I'm not currently into articleship.
ओके परफेक्ट 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 सो या अबाउट स्टैट्यूटरी ऑडिट इतना ख्याल रखो कि भाई आपको फाइनेंशियल्स दे दिए जाएंगे, फिर आपको आपकी अकाउंटिंग नॉलेज लगानी है, आपको आपके एएस दिमाग में रखने हैं, इंडेस दिमाग में रखने हैं, और फिर सोचना है अरे यार हाउ इज दिस द करेक्ट वर्किंग ऑफ प्रीपेड एक्सपेंस, और इज दिस द करेक्ट ओसीआई, जो ओसीआई में जो बैलेंस जाता है रिटेन अर्निंग का, वो करेक्ट गया है कि नहीं गया है. इट शुड बी वेदर क्लासिफाइड एज एनआर, दैट इज नॉन ट्रांसफरेबल, या आर रिक्लासिफाइबल. ऑल दो स्टफ है, वो सोकी वगैरह जो अपन बनाते हैं, कैश फ्लो बनाते हैं, ऑल दो स्टफ. दिस इज फ्रॉम स्टैट्यूटरी ऑडिट पर्सपेक्टिव कि भाई एक पेपर आपको दे दिया गया है, अब आपको आपका एक्सपर्टीज लगाना है कि सब कुछ सही है कि नहीं. इंटरनल ऑडिट इज मोर अबाउट डाइविंग इनसाइड द बिजनेस. दिस पीपल मेक श्योर कि भाई तुम्हारा प्रोसेस जो तुमने सेट किया हुआ है, करेक्ट मी जी इफ आई एम गेटिंग रॉन्ग, अगर आपने कोई प्रोसेस सेट करा हुआ है तो क्या आप अबाइड कर रहे हो क्या, क्योंकि आपने आपके शेयर होल्डर्स को तो बोल दिया कि भाई हमारा एकदम फिट है, परफेक्ट है. हमारा वेंडर्स की हम पूरी एक लिस्ट निकालते हैं और उनको हम सब बताते हैं कि भाई जिसका कोटेशन सबसे कम आएगा, आई प्रोबेबली विल गिव देम द ऑर्डर, बट is am I only the vendor who is also, probably, what I would say, probably running for that contract as well. जो हायर मैनेजमेंट होती है उनके पास बहुत सारी ऐसी पावर्स होती है, दे कैन इजीली ब्रेक द इंटरनल कंट्रोल्स, राइट, एंड दे कैन कमिट अ बिग फ्रॉड. दिस इज वेयर द इंटरनल कंट्रोल or the internal control auditor comes into the picture, whereas statutory audit is a completely different domain. Goes without saying that internal audit की रिपोर्ट एक statutory auditor लेता है for their references. I think शायद internal auditor को इतनी जरूरत नहीं होती statutory audit report देखने की.
Mm.
Complete. Yes, yeah, if you want to add anything, over to you. Thank you.
No, I completely agree with you. Internal audit may we don't take statutory auditors ki report, but statutory auditors may require internal auditors report because they need to know where the management is lacking, so they can also focus on that area while auditing. So yeah.
Thank you, Jia, for giving a brief explanation. And I think now we can actually differentiate between the two audits. And concluding, I have one last question about the learning perspective. Have you worked on risk-based audits or process improvements?
Okay, so I, being in my first year articleship, I have worked in process audit because, as I said, as I mentioned earlier, that I have done mall audit for 4 quarters. So this was my fourth quarter this time, and mall is all about process because the SOPs and everything for the mall is already have been drafted. So process audit is something, as Chandan sir also said, we dive deep into the process, what the management is actually doing. So my personal work has been in process audit, not in the risk based audit, but I have done IFC testing for other client also. So I can say that I have the experience of both, but I would be more into process audit. But I would say being in internal audit and being in Anisha, you'll get like upper mid-size firm, you get to do many clients in during your articleship journey. Because since it is a growing firm, we are the firm is also onboarding so many different new clients. So you get to do different industries, different you get the perspective, get the knowledge of different companies with different industry backgrounds. So yeah, we get to do both risk based audit as well as process based audit.
Okay, so Jia, the first speaker, Vedansh, he did mention that, the first 6 months of an articleship period is where you don't get much work. So the question is that how would you say that there are certain ways to proactively ask for better opportunities at work at a learning period?
Yeah, he was very correct about this. But talking about my own experience, right, like for the first time when I have joined, there was no such work which I was being allotted. I was only doing vouching and stuff like that. But you need to like starting में सबके साथ same ही होने वाला है, and you have to be careful about that. Like you cannot just do like vouching ही है ना कर लेंगे आराम से. You are always under the radar of the managers, so you have to be, they are monitoring you continuously, so you have to be very vigilant about what you're doing, very careful. And I would say like communication plays a very important role. You should be good with the seniors, we should be good with the managers. And if you have a great bonding with them, I think that personally helps a lot. That has helped me a lot. So that helps a lot in getting new clients, getting good clients, and getting to do work which is really very interesting instead of doing the boring work, which is vouching and stuff. And yeah, like you'll get to do good like cream work after 3 to 4 months of being in your articleship, because they are also not sure about what all things you have learned so far. So it is like it is मतलब सबके साथ सेम ही होने वाला है, so it is nothing to stress about the beginning.
Okay, so coming back to the internal auditor part, what are the tools and the softwares that are used generally in internal audit?
Okay, so we basically use the software which our clients are using. So we are we use Tally, SAP, Oracle, and Yardi in case of Phoenix. So the client might have their own ERP system also, which they'll brief you about like how they are working and etc. But like same softwares are used which are used by the client. Yeah.
Okay, so when we talk about Big Four, we or Big Six, we clearly know the names of the firms and how to approach them. But mid-size is an area where you have many names and thus many views. So how do you think the students should approach these mid-size firms?
Okay, so I would not say, I would say I'm not working in a mid-size firm. It is like an upper mid-size firm, because and there are only few upper mid-size firms as per my knowledge. I've heard a lot about Anisha, so I chose to come here. But like students can be those who are cleared CA Inter just right now, they can evaluate where they are staying, what will be close to them, and they can just search research about the firms which are in their locality, so that they can commute easily. And if they are okay with traveling like I am okay with traveling. I am living in Kalyan and I go to Worli every day. So like I don't think there are so many upper mid-sized firm in Mumbai. So if someone wants to know their interest area, and okay, so one thing which is very important is the client base. People should communicate with like the articles who are already working in that firm, so that they get to know more about the firm and the environment and the working culture of the firm, so that they can decide. Like in Anisha and in upper mid-sized firm, there are firms which are giving work from home policies, so that may be an attractive like a key point for them to join that firm. So you can take the pros and cons and evaluate like that.
Thank you so much, Jia, for bringing in such a grounded and honest perspective. It's refreshing to
Thank you.
hear how internal audit, when approached with curiosity, can truly sharpen one's understanding of business at its core. Uh, and I do acknowledge the presence of another mentor amongst us, Taruna ma'am. So, ma'am, would you please give us certain insights about articleship training?
I think ma'am is having network issues.
Okay, so moving forward, uh, Chandan sir, can you please give us your insights and conclusions for the articleship training?
Surely. Just give me a moment. I'm actually working, so I can get a call from manager anytime. So I have to be appearing away. Here you go. The conclusion. Okay. देखो यार, the way I see to it, even newly qualified CS doesn't have any idea about where do have to they go. Okay, so you people are to just kids now. आप अभी एकदम बचपन में हो. आपकी आर्टिकलशिप अभी चालू भी नहीं हुई है. You have not even entered the day one of your articleship. जब आप डे वन पे एंटर करोगे तो आपको एक दुनिया पता चलेगी, यार आर्टिकलशिप जो हमने सोचा था वैसा तो है ही नहीं ना. इट वाज नॉट जस्ट अबाउट फन, इट वाज आल्सो कमिटिंग टू योर एम्प्लॉयर कि बॉस 13 तारीख को 11 तारीख को मेरा जीएसटीआर फाइल हो जाएगा, 18 19 20 तक के मेरा जीएसटीआर हो जाएगा. 31st I'll not make any plans, but I'll adhere to GST deadlines. During LR I'll not make any plans. You have to do so much of sacrifices in your articleship. Having said that, you'll not get the clarity from the day one itself, as I've clearly mentioned that without diving inside the swimming pool, without talking to people, without knowing कि क्या है क्या नहीं है, you'll not understand that. So it's completely okay if you are probably at place zero today. You will be, trust me when I say this, down the line 3 or 4 years, you'll be sitting at my place and you'll be guiding your juniors the same way I'm guiding you, because even I had no clue. राइट. बट हाँ, मुझे जाते जाते 2-3 चीजें जरूर बोलनी है जो आपको आर्टिकलशिप में प्लीज ख्याल रखो, विच इज आई ऑलवेज से कि वन सीए, listen to me again very 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 I'm about to touch a very delicate point. Okay, one chartered accountant is equals to 2 MBAs from IIM minus soft skills. I'm repeating it again. One chartered accountant is equals to 2 MBA from IIM minus soft skills. क्योंकि अपनी नॉलेज इतनी होती है, अपन को इतना कुछ पता होता है. टॉक टू समवन हु हैव रिसेंटली appeared for May 25 attempt, be it inter, be it finals. You people have so much knowledge fresh inside your mind कि तुमको अगर ऐसे सेशन में आधे घंटे के लिए बोलने दे दिया जाए तो यू विल बी टॉकिंग एंड टचिंग ऑलमोस्ट एवरी सब्जेक्ट, एवरी टॉपिक, बिकॉज यू हैव दैट अमाउंट ऑफ क्लैरिटी इन योर माइंड. Right? It is only the soft skill aspect that we people are lagging behind. And it is only the reason why we people work on the complex Excel formulas, whereas MBAs go front end and they present things. राइट. सो आर्टिकलशिप में अगर कुछ पता ना चले डे वन पे कि यार क्या करना है लाइफ में, कुछ भी पता नहीं है सर, कुछ नहीं पता, मतलब कुछ समझ में ही नहीं आ रहा सर, इतने सब लोगों से बात करके कुछ नहीं पता चल रहा, सिंपल है, गो टू स्टैट्यूटरी ऑडिट. वाई? क्योंकि स्टैट्यूटरी ऑडिट में सबसे अच्छी एग्जिट अपॉर्चुनिटीज मिलती है. ट्राई फॉर बिग 4, बिग 6, बिग 10 मिल जाए तो बहुत अच्छी बात है, क्योंकि उससे फिर बहुत अच्छी एग्जिट अपॉर्चुनिटीज मिलती है. सब, एवरी इंडस्ट्री. हम जब आज पोस्ट क्वालिफाइड होके 2 साल होके हम जब देखते हैं लोगों को, इंडस्ट्री वेरी वेल वार्म हार्टेडली वेलकम समवन फ्रॉम बिग 4. वो फर्क पड़ता है, बिग 4, बिग 10 या जो भी आप बोलो, स्टैट्यूटरी ऑडिट में बड़ा फर्क पड़ता है. सो अगेन कमिंग बैक टू द फर्स्ट पॉइंट, अगर लाइफ में कुछ भी क्लैरिटी नहीं है, गो विद स्टैट्यूटरी ऑडिट. ठीक है. दूसरी चीज, कम्युनिकेट करना सीखो. लर्न टू कम्युनिकेट, दैट इज extremely very important. It is only because I had certain communication skills with me is the reason why am I here in the session. There are so many chartered accountants, but शायद मुझे इसके लिए बुलाया गया कि किसी ने तो सुना होगा ना मुझे बोलते हुए क्या यार ये इंसान बोल सकता है, and then you get to interact with a lot of people, then you get to interact with a lot of speakers over there, and ऐसे slowly and gradually आपकी speaking skills बढ़ती है. वो आपको एज देती है आगे जाके, बिकॉज पता है जब एक नए न्यूली क्वालिफाइड सीएस का, मैं बार बार इसके लिए एग्जांपल ले रहा हूँ क्योंकि मेरा ज्यादातर टाइम उनके साथ बीतता है. सो उनको जब ये पूछते हैं कि ओके सर व्हाट आर योर एक्सपेक्टेशंस, अब बेचारों को 10-12 हज़ार की स्टाइपेंड मिली, वो सडनली कैसे बोल दे कि मेरे को 12-14 लाख रुपए चाहिए. उसको बोलने के लिए भी तो एक गट्स चाहिए होता है ना. विज़ इफ यू सी एन एमबीए, ही विल ही विल से बिंदास कि यार 15 से 20 के नीचे तो मैं नहीं काम कर रहा. बट एक चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट, मतलब आप आपके सीनियर से भी पूछना जो नए क्वालिफाइड हुए, वो बड़े खुश हो जाते हैं 10 लाख के पैकेज में भी. होना भी चाहिए क्योंकि जॉब मार्केट ऐसा है, बट देन वो ज्यादा क्वेश्चन नहीं करते, वो ज्यादा खुद को सेल नहीं करते, वो निगोशिएट नहीं करते, क्योंकि यार हमने 10,000 देखे हैं पर महीने, 8,000, 4,000, 3,000 देखे, तो हमारे लिए सडनली जब लाख रुपए आए तो हमारे लिए तो कितनी बड़ी बात हो गई. राइट. सो इट इज बिकॉज वी पीपल हैव नॉट in a position to know our worth, which I feel is a very bad thing to have. आई रियली वॉन्ट टू चेंज एंड आई रियली विश टू चेंज कि ये चीज आर्टिकलशिप के स्टार्टिंग से आप में चेंज आए. आप क्लाइंट से कैसे बात करोगे सर जब आप किसी सीए इंटर न्यूली क्वालिफाइड से ही बात नहीं कर पा रहे हो जो आपके साइड में बैठा है या बैठी है. हाउ कैन यू एक्सपेक्ट टू टॉक टू अ क्लाइंट इफ यू कैन टॉक टू अ पर्सन हु इज एट योर सेम लेवल. सो अंडरस्टैंड एंड इन्वेस्ट इन योर कम्युनिकेशन स्किल्स. तीसरी चीज जो लोग बोलते हैं कि नहीं यार ये इवेंट्स वगैरह, विकासा, WIRC, ये सब इतना नहीं है, स्टडी, फोकस ऑन योर स्टडीज एंड ऑल दो स्टफ. नो, आई डोंट अग्री टू इट, एंड आई हैव नो what I would say, I have no regrets in saying 2 years of studies, that is 6 months starting from your articleship is enough to crack CA final. अगर फिर भी प्रॉब्लम आ रही है तो आपके अप्रोच में इश्यू है सब, देन यू हैव टू चेंज योर अप्रोच. बट ट्रस्ट मी, स्टार्टिंग के 6 महीने 1 साल अपने रिलेशंस बिल्ड करने की कोशिश करो. इवेंट्स में जाओ, लोगों से बात करो, तभी पता चलता है अच्छा ये इस डोमेन में है, अच्छा भाई तू क्या करता है इस डोमेन में ये भी तो बता. अच्छा डायरेक्ट टैक्स में you just file a normal ITR or you look into the litigation perspective. Okay, is 147 to 152 section of income tax is getting attracted? Have you did 132 133 survey? All these things gets in your head when you talk to people. बुकिश नॉलेज इज फाइन भाई, बुकिश में तुम सब सीख जाओगे लाइफ में, बट जो एक प्रैक्टिकल जो ऑन रोड रियलिटी है ना वो एक कंप्लीटली डिफरेंट है. नो वन इज वेटिंग कि यार ये बंदा सीएस बने और मैं इसकी बैलेंस शीट से साइन लूं. नो, नो वन इज वेटिंग फॉर यू. इट इज यू हैव टू क्रिएट दैट इम्पैक्ट. लास्टली आई वुड से परफेक्ट. यस, लास्टली आई वुड से मंजिल तो मिल ही जाएगी भटकते भटकते. गुमराह वो है जो आज अभी तक घर से निकले भी नहीं है. इट इज योर टाइम टू लीव योर होम, टू कम, टू एक्सप्लोर. इट इज ओके टू मेक मिस्टेक्स. अगेन एक बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट पॉइंट टच करने जा रहा हूँ, पोस्ट क्वालिफिकेशन भी, यानी कि आज से 5 साल बाद की बात कर रहा हूँ मैं, ठीक है. पोस्ट क्वालिफिकेशन प्लस 2 years, जो आप सीए इंटर वाले मुझे सुन रहे हो, पोस्ट क्वालिफिकेशन प्लस 2 years, दैट इज 5 years फ्रॉम नाउ, राइट. तो हम ये सीएस को एडवाइस देते हैं कि भाई स्टार्टिंग के 2 साल आपके पोस्ट क्वालिफिकेशन वाले जो जॉब होते हैं ना, यू आर अलाउड टू मेक स्विच. देयर इज नो वन इन द इंडस्ट्री इज गोइंग टू क्वेश्चन यू. सीधा आंसर ये है कि सर मेरे को जमा नहीं, आई डेंट लाइक द वर्क दैट आई वाज डूइंग, राइट. तो तुम ये सोचो कि अगर पोस्ट क्वालिफाइड करने के बाद भी 2 साल का तुम्हारे पास टाइम है, तो ये तो सिर्फ आर्टिकलशिप है. तुमने तो किसी से बात भी नहीं करी है, तुमने तो कुछ सीखा भी नहीं है. टू बी वेरी ऑनेस्ट एंड ब्लंट विद यू पीपल, it's completely okay to make mistakes during articleship, but don't be foolish. That is all I know. Don't be foolish. ऐसे ही सिर्फ कॉपी पेस्ट करते मत बैठो. सीखो, 10 तरीके के क्वेश्चन पूछो उनसे. यार सर, इनिशियली इवन अगर मुझे आपको आज मेरे अंडर रखना है तो मैं आपको सबसे पहले ही जाके बैलेंस शीट नहीं दे दूंगा. मुझे आपको सिंपल ही काम देने होंगे कि भाई ये कट कॉपी पेस्ट तो कर पा रहा है कि नहीं कर पा रहा है, तभी तो मैं इसको बैलेंस शीट दूंगा. डोंट बी अशेम्ड टू डू दैट. 5-6 महीने करना पड़ता है, सबको करना पड़ता है यार. क्वालिफाइड होने के बाद भी करना पड़ता है. तुम तो अभी तक आर्टिकल हो, राइट. सो इतना खुद पे लोड नहीं लेना है, लाइफ को सिंपल रखना है. कुछ नहीं समझ में आए, आर्टिकलशिप ले लो स्टैट्यूटरी ऑडिट में. बिग 10 हो तो बहुत बढ़िया, ना हो तो भगवान की इच्छा, मिड साइज पकड़ो और आगे बढ़ो लाइफ में. ऐसा कुछ नहीं होता है कि यार कोई रूल नहीं है, किसी ने कुछ नहीं बोला है. अगर मिड साइज में भी करोगे तो भी इंडस्ट्रियल ट्रेनिंग, आई एम सो सॉरी, इन्वेस्टमेंट बैंकिंग मिल जाएगी अगर तुम्हारे में कैपेबिलिटी है और तुम सीएफए कर सकते हो, मार्केट से वेल वर्स्ड हो और 10 तरीके की डील तुमने सीखा है. इट इज ऑल डिपेंड्स ऑन योर इंटरव्यू एज वेल, कि कैसे इंटरव्यू तुम्हारा जा रहा है. तुम्हारे पास भले ही CFA L2 की डिग्रीज हो, सीए फर्स्ट अटेम्प्ट क्वालिफाइड रैंकर्स हो, तुम्हें ये भी नहीं पता कि इक्विटी रिसर्च के बायबैक जब हो जाता है तो ईपीएस पे क्या फर्क पड़ता है, देन नो वन इज गोइंग टू हायर यू. इट इज योर नॉलेज दैट स्पीक्स आफ्टर अ पर्टिकुलर पॉइंट इन टाइम. So don't worry, be happy. कुछ भी problem हो, कोई confusion हो, do reach out to this wonderful Vikasa committee. I think they are more than happy to help, available for each one of you out there. उन्होंने भी सेम चीज फेस करी है इनिशियली 1-2 साल में, तभी शायद उनको नीड फील हुई कि ऐसा सेशन करते हैं. इट इज अ वेरी गुड स्टेप्स पीपल. आई थिंक क्वालिफाइड सीएस के लिए तो बहुत सारी चीजें होती है, इन बेचारों के लिए होती नहीं है. एंड इट इज अ एक्सलेंट स्टेप टू गाइड दिस पीपल आउट. दैट वुड बी फ्रॉम माई एंड. Mahi, sorry for taking a lot of time. Over to you, and please take it ahead from here.
Thank you so much, Chandan sir, for those insightful and thought-provoking words. I believe you have offered us a broader lens on how to navigate the articleship journey with purpose and clarity. Your reflections have not only added depth to the session, but also offered clarity and motivation that will stay with us as we navigate our path ahead. As we wrap up, I now invite Ashi Chirania to express our gratitude on behalf of Vikasa and all the attendees.
Thank you. What an enriching and insightful day it has been. On behalf of the organizing committee, it is my absolute honor to deliver the vote of thanks for today's exceptional event. First and foremost, I extend our deepest gratitude to the visionary leaders of WRC. Thank you to C. Ketan Sayya sir, Chairman of WRC, for your constant encouragement and for championing initiatives that empower the next generation of chartered accountants. A heartfelt thanks to CA Piyush Chandak sir, Vice Chairman of WRC, whose unwavering support has been instrumental in making today's program a success. We are equally grateful to CA Jinal Savla ma'am, Secretary of WRC, and CA Fenil Shah sir, Treasurer of WRC, for their valuable contributions to the student fraternity. A special thank you to all WRC Regional Council members for being the guiding force behind such meaningful student-centric events. We are immensely thankful to CA Jitendra Saglani sir, Chairman of Vikasa, for his consistent support, vision, and dedication towards student development. Your leadership truly makes a difference. Now, to the star mentor and speakers of today's session, a heartfelt thank you to our guiding light, CA Chandan Jhawar sir, for your brilliant and deeply informative mentorship session on articleship domain guidance. Your ability to simplify knowledge and present them with such clarity is truly commendable. With a rich experience as a speaker, educator, and active contributor to the community, today's session reflected not just your expertise, but also your passion for empowering students. We are grateful for your practical insights you shared and the valuable knowledge we now carry forward. We extend our sincere appreciation to our incredible speakers, Vedant Jaipuria, Siddhant Jory, and Jia Jain, for graciously taking our time to be with us today. Your presence and perspectives made the session enlightening, relatable, and deeply meaningful. For all those present, and encourage them to take confident steps forward. A huge shout out to all the coordinators and team members who work tirelessly behind the scenes to make this event seamless. And of course, to our wonderful audience, thank you for your enthusiasm, attention, and active participation. Events like this become meaningful because of your involvement. Thank you once again and wishing you all the very best on the journey ahead.